Hello guys and welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother, and tonight we have the live eviction. It was a cracking episode. We had arguments, we had apologies, we had, most importantly, an eviction, and we also had a lot of therapy, which was not something I was expecting, but it all kicked off in this episode, and my goodness, this really is this really is lining up to be a great series of Celebrity Big Brother. So guys, if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. We are now at last count at 674, which means we are approximately 26 subscribers away from 700. Guys, you are doing such a fantastic job. You guys need to get on it. You guys need to be doing the most. You're doing bits currently, but we need to do bits plus, okay? You guys need to absolutely smash that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, what are you doing? Why are you even watching the videos? Because, like, come on, show me the support. Show me you love the videos. Because when I see that subscriber count going up, I'm like, rah, doing something good. Yes. Right, let's get on with the video, shall we? I gotta say, Celebrity Big Brother really does make mugs out of the people participating in it. I don't know what was going on in this episode, but they decided to do a celestial spa retreat, and it was all like hum. And then Levi was obviously chosen as like their head shaman or whatever it was, and then they had like a dance session. And the kind of music that they played was not the kind of music I expected for a spa retreat. It was really funky, upbeat music. I was expecting more like maybe like some Stevie Nicks or something to sort of get the body flowing, not like Buster Move, twerking asses. It was odd, to say the least. But I did actually have a really, really fun time with it, and I thought it was great. And then they all had to sit around a circle. They had to pick petals out of the middle, had a question on it, and they had to choose someone to talk to answer the question. And for the most part, it had really, really interesting results. Gary was asked whether he's found true peace or whether he's still looking for it. And he started harping on about the fact that he's a national villain. And I was like, mate, I didn't even know who you were before Monday. So you clearly weren't a national villain. Like, nobody... I'm fairly convinced that not a single person knew who you were before you went into the house. Not a single person. Nobody knows you. So what's going on here? And then he also was like, I don't think I've ever known true peace. And I was just like, this guy chats the most rubbish out of everybody in this house. Wow. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Marisha was asked what are you what's the feature of yourself that you like to hide or something, and she says that she likes to hide the fact that she's insecure. She likes to put on this strong persona. That's why she went into performing, because it allows her to be strong and confident. And she said that she's really sort of, she feels like she gave up everything in her life to go for her dream. Basically, she gave up having a marriage, having kids, in order to progress her career. And it really did break my heart hearing her say that, because it's not easy to hear at all. And Marisha is such a wonderful, lovely woman, and I just want the best for her. I just want to give her a hug. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I watched her as fucking Motormouth, I can't remember her name. The woman from Hairspray, the one that sings "I Know Where I've Been," which is a banger, and she absolutely killed that number. It was amazing. I just want to give her a hug. Do you know what I mean? She's so sweet and lovely, and she just deserves the world. Next up, Louis asked Bradley, do you have any regrets? And Bradley was like, I regret lying about who I was for so long, and not really understanding who I was, and hiding it from people, and not fully accepting who I am. I thought it was actually a really, really beautiful moment. Bradley is actually turning out to be one of my favourite people this series, mostly because it's so funny, because most of my iconic quotes and moments are him and David just doing random fucking shit around the house, and I really do appreciate it and like it. So yeah, this was a real moment of heart warmth from Bradley. That was horrendous English, but you get what I mean. Next up, we had Sharon. Sharon was asked who inspires her. I thought this was a very interesting question. Who inspires Sharon out of the group? Levi. Because Levi has found serenity, and Sharon doesn't feel like she ever has woken up with a sense of serenity and calm and knowing that everything's going to be fine. And then Levi was talking about how his lowest moment in life was when his two of his daughters came out publicly against him in the papers and called him a bad father, and he really hopes that one day that they can all reconcile. And I just thought it was such a beautiful, lovely moment. It was so heartwarming. Oh my goodness. And then they were all crying, and I was like, oh my god, what's happened? I feel like these people are going to need therapy after this, because my goodness, Fan Cotton isn't fucking cutting it. So it's time to talk about the little bitch sessions that Louis and Sharon have. In fact, Ekin-Su joined in on one about Gary. They just feel like Gary is not sincere and is really sort of playing up to the cameras almost. Like, he started going over to the gong and joining in and being silly with the dancing. And it was like, when it's Bradley and David doing it, it's chill, but when Gary's joining in, it feels like he's joining in because he knows it will get him screen time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know whether I believe his whole "I don't want to be a celebrity" mantra. I feel like there's an element of it, but like, why would you come on this show on Celebrity Big Brother if you don't consider yourself a celebrity and you don't want to be a celebrity? It's like forcing yourself into the public eye when, I'm not being funny, you're not even in the public eye. I didn't even know Kate Middleton had an uncle until The Sun was like, yo, Kate Middleton's uncle's going in. And I was like, what? What do you mean Kate Middleton's uncle? What a load of rubbish. Yeah, honestly, long is all I have to say to that. Is just a long day for them. Yeah. The second bitch session that they had was about Simon Cowell. And this is what I mean by, I think Sharon should stay. I don't want her going, because there's moments like this where I'm just obsessed. They were talking about how like Sunita is so lovely and is so indebted to him. They were saying that they've not heard from Simon in years and years, and he's basically dropped them as friends. And Sharon was talking about how she gave up a gig on The Masked Singer in America because obviously she had a commitment to X Factor in the UK. And then before the season even started, they cut her and Louis from the lineup. I think they replaced her and Louis with Nick Grimshaw, Rita Ora. I think Louis might have been on that series. Or was it Nicole Scherzinger, that series? I can't remember. But either way, I stand by the fact that the lineup of Sharon, Louis, Cheryl Cole, Danny Minogue, Nicole Scherzinger, and Simon, those sort of six were the best judges. They were elite. They were incredible. They just gave zero fucks, and it was so entertaining and funny with them on the show. Like, I can't get over it. So why would they? Because they were like, apparently Simon was like, oh, we want new blood, and apparently Sharon kicked off at him and kicked off big time. And I think good, because Sharon and Louis were, like, as a duo, hilarious on the show. One of the funniest moments was Dawn the Jockey, where they are cackling to themselves and they walk outside and Sharon hits her head on a door as she walks in. It's one of the best clips ever, and I don't know why you would want to take those people away in favour of people who, like Nick Grimshaw and Rita Ora, who, like, you're just not going to have funny moments. They also mentioned how back in the day, X Factor didn't used to be very, like, didn't used to be so overproduced. It used to be very authentic and realistic. And then when Sharon came back, she was like, I'm shocked at how fake X Factor was, because it would be like, oh, stop. Have you got a second song? Oh yeah, I've just magically bought a backing track with me that is in the right key and everything. Yeah. We're good to go with the next one. Oh, you're through. It's like, it's so overproduced and ridiculous, and it was interesting and refreshing to hear them talk about that. As I suspected, and as I said in the last episode, Ekin-Su was talking about Davide, and she basically made out like, she said explicitly, I thought he was my soulmate. And I think this just speaks volumes for the fact that this is why she doesn't want to talk about Love Island. Yes, it's the show that made her famous, but respect the fact that it was a show where she found her soulmate, and she can't look back on her time in that villa without feeling sadness. I truly do believe that she is genuinely still in love with him, and it breaks my heart for her, because like I've been there. I know exactly how she's feeling, and when you've got people asking you about like stuff that reminds you of your partner, you don't want to talk about it. You don't. It's the last thing you want to do. So I think people need to have some compassion, and people need to have some understanding, because it just feels like the people who are criticizing her for, oh wow, it's the show that made her famous, you should talk about it, they're terminally online, and they've never had a real relationship, or they've never known true heartbreak, because they were dating for well over 2 years, and then they broke up. Like, 2 years is a long time to spend with someone. I know in the grand scheme of things it's not, but like 2 years, 700 odd days, it's not an insignificant amount of time. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they were dating for 6 months and then broke up like most Love Island couples. No, they'd moved in together, I think. They had a life together. So losing that is heartbreaking, and it can trigger people when they bring up stuff that reminds them of their partner, of their ex even. So have some compassion, please, if you are criticizing her for how she's responding. It's not an excuse, because yes, she did snap at Coulson and it was not okay, but have some compassion. Don't just call her a bitch. I'm talking mainly to Twitter, not to you guys, because you guys are fab. But like, Twitter's nasty, and I have defended Ekin-Su on there, and it seems like I'm not getting a lot of support. So, is what it is. It's time to talk about the rule break, and the rule break was pretty juicy. We saw it actually at the end of last episode, and I did make a note. I was like, they're discussing nominations. This feels weird and odd. And it turns out, yeah, they were discussing nominations, and they did get caught for it. The problem with Big Brother reading out the receipts is that the tone and the way in which things were said can sometimes get missed. And I feel like that's exactly what happened here. The conversation was essentially the fundamentally about ZZ and how ZZ hates Lauren. And ZZ took a real issue with the fact that Lauren used the word hate, because she thinks that's a strong word and you shouldn't be using it. And I do agree to an extent, but I mean, again, I could be misremembering how it was said, but I'm sure it was said as in like a, oh, ZZ hates me. It wasn't meant as like a, she hates me, like genuinely. I feel like the conversation itself wasn't banter, which Lauren and Louis both tried to claim it was, and that was like, But I think the line where she was like, she hates me, was not meant seriously. It's just like, it's difficult because different words have different weight and meaning. Like, when I say I hate something, I don't actually mean I hate something. I'm just being like, oh, I hate this, oh, whatever, oh, this is, oh, so bad, I hate it, like, oh, I hate that person, oh. It's never meant seriously, because like the tone in which I use it is never serious. So I think from an extent, ZZ should have been like, how did you say it? Did you say it like this? Did you say it like this? Rather than just doubling down on the fact that this word is not okay to use. Because, yeah, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. The argument itself, very entertaining. I was highly entertained, and I gotta say, I don't think either of them came out of the argument looking great, because then, obviously, Zizi went outside and was like sulking and angry, and then Lauren came out and was like, "Oh, can I apologize to you? Like on behalf of the group, like just to ease tensions." And Zizi was like, "Are you apologizing for my benefit or for the group's benefit?" And Lauren was like, "For the group." And Zizi was like, "Then I'm not accepting your apology, because you should be apologizing to me, not to the group, like to the group for causing aggro, because that's not okay." I did agree with Zizi in that respect. I did think Lauren approached that poorly, and it was disappointing. But they had to sit in a wheelie bin of shame. It was hilarious. They also had to write an apology letter, and all they managed to muster up, and I actually can't get over how ridiculous it was what they wrote. So this was their apology letter. "To all of the housemates here, we are deeply sorry for any upset that we have caused today. It was totally banter, and we are really, really sorry. Lauren and Louis." They were in there for over an hour, and that's all they could come up with. The silence was so deafening. You could have heard a pin drop, and I think I couldn't tell whether Zizi was laughing or whether she was about to cry, but Bradley and David were looking at each other and cackling, like trying not to cackle. It was just too funny. It was genuinely one of the funniest moments of the series. And it was all good because Louis went through to Zizi and was like, "Look, it wasn't meant seriously. Like, it's all good. Chill." And then Lauren went to go speak to her, and they had it. They sort of mended fences. I don't think either of them are going to be very friendly with each other from here on out, but at least fences have been mended, and we can move on from this tragic ordeal. So the time has come to talk about the evicted housemate, and it was, unsurprisingly, Gary. I didn't see it going any other way. I feel like Lauren would have garnered a lot of support from this episode because people probably would have taken issue with Zizi and the whole situation, yada, 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 whatever. But I didn't see Lauren going this week anyway. I saw Gary going from the moment he was put up for, like, the danger zone. I knew he was going home. Because I was like, there's no way that he's not making the killer nomination, and then there's no way the public are saving him. Let's face that. I did think it was interesting in his interview. The interview was long. I don't know whether it seemed long or whether it actually was long, but I felt like they were actually really digging, and it was a big improvement on the previous series where it felt like the exit interviews were kind of lackluster and a little bit boring in some respects. So I did feel like they did a really, really good job here. But this is obviously the first TV show he says he's done, and it was like completely out of his comfort zone. He spent a lot of time being like, "Oh, I don't want to be a celebrity." He was basically just prattling off the same stuff that he'd been saying in the house, and I was kind of just like, yada yada yada, yeah, whatever. I'm kind of bored of this now. Like, can we move on? He said he completely agreed with Sharon's decision, and said that everything she said was stuff that he had said to her, and she just reeled it back at him. And he was like, "Do you know what? I actually can't say no. Do you know, like, I can't say you're wrong. So, you know what? Fair and valid." Which I think is good of him. I think it's sort of smart of him to not fight it and be like, yeah, fair. And then he was shown a montage of all the times he said Kate in the house. It was a lot, and he was like, "Damn, did I really talk about it that much?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then he started making some jokes. He was not funny in the nicest way possible. I don't think there was a single joke he made this series that was like, "Oh, funny." So yeah, that was a tough one to watch. And then there was also he was talking about how he wants to change his profile, and I just said for the last fucking time, what profile? We don't know who you are. I've googled you now, so I know who you are, but like, nobody knew you before going into the house. You could have faded into obscurity and no one would have known who you are. I don't think you've changed anybody's mind of who you are. Like, what? Oh, yeah, whatever. He also talks about Fern and how he said that Fern was such a lovely person. He did feel like she was interviewing him at times, but he said that she was really kind and caring and really made him feel supported in the house, which I thought was so lovely. He was also asked, he was also told that Ekin-Su thought that he was faking emotion, and Gary's like, I don't have the brain capacity for that, to fake emotion and play a game. Like, I don't have that. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then they started talking about the divide in the house and how it's kind of like the oldies versus the kids. Which I found really interesting, because he made out like the oldies were like Levi, Fern, Sharon, Louis, Lauren, and then Marisha, and I was like, that's a rogue one to put in there. And also Ekin-Su, I think, to an extent. Ekin-Su's kind of a floater between the groups, but then the kids are like David, Zizi, Bradley, Colston, Nikita, that group. And I feel like it's interesting how quickly groups have formed, but then I don't feel like there's any sort of nastiness between the groups currently. So, well, I mean, the oldies can be a bit bitchy at times, some of them, but not all of them, I guess. So, yeah. But that was pretty much it. Not Callum. Gary is our first evicted housemate, and I gotta say, I'm not surprised, I'm not disappointed, and in the nicest way possible, I'm not gonna miss him. I think I would have missed Lauren more, just because I think she's more entertaining and she gives me more funny moments. She still doesn't know Coulson's name, which, like, at this point, it is just getting rude and it is just getting a bit obnoxious and, yeah, tough. Like, how difficult is it to remember Colston? Or is it Coulson? Colston. Now I'm forgetting. Fuck, I think it's Coulson. Coulson. It's not hard to remember. She only has to say it 5 times and write it on her fingers, and then she'll remember. Isn't that like the method or something? I don't know. But yeah, that was the exit interview. We've got some quick iconic quotes and moments. Bradley did a disappearing act in the bathroom, and he also did a ginseng shot with like David and Nikita and that lot. And he absolutely hated it. I think he had to chuck it back up, and it was really, really funny. On the back of that same group of people did a Bathroom Slayers podcast, which was so weird but funny. I feel like I'd be the same in the house. I'd just be doing stupid random shit to keep myself entertained. I would be chatting to so many people, though. Honestly, the amount of life stories I'd be wanting to exchange, be brilliant. But I feel like that group of people is actually really funny and really entertaining. And then the last thing I had on this iconic quotes and moments was Louis walking into the bedroom and going, "Zizi, it's me, Louis." It actually sent me round the bed. I cackled when he said that. I thought that was the funniest line of the whole episode, because I was like, who's the only Irish person in the house? "Zizi, it's me, Louis." Oh, it's just funny. So guys, that is all we have time for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I'm sorry if this was a little bit of a longer episode. I record this in like little chunks, so that it makes it easier for recording. So I don't actually know how long it is until I put it into the editing software. So if it's like half an hour long, I'm really sorry. But also, that means you got half an hour of me ranting. So like, who's winning here? You or me? Both, I'd say. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 700. You guys can do it. And yeah, make sure to keep on ranting. I will see you later. Bye now.